get this started up here. So this one is definitely something that I didn't plan on making, but for some reason I'm doing. So before we get into the live, I'm gonna go ahead and just set some kind of rules for myself. For those of you who end up catching this, thank you for checking it out. We're not coming from a space of knowing anything actually. We're just gonna kind of bring awareness to this just real quick. So the one rule I want to set for myself, especially over a topic like this, is I'm gonna give myself just like 4 minutes to kind of just gather myself. You know what I'm saying? Just gather myself. This might be kind of the new rule I make for any live I do. Is I'm gonna gather myself every 4 minutes before I begin speaking on this topic. So hope everyone's having a good night. Hope everyone's doing well. There's a lot of things I want to speak about. There's some things I probably need to speak about. And every day things can fluctuate, but we're trying to be consistent. We're trying to be consistent. We're trying to do better. And that's all you can do. So the reason I'm going to be speaking on this title is because I believe that there's always more to something. When it comes to like your senses. I did my own little research, and this woman actually made the news back in 2022. I did know her for a brief amount of time. And it wasn't until like a year and a half later, that I found out that she passed away. Shortly after departing a living situation. Bear with me, this is kind of the first time. I did say 4 minutes though. So if you're new to the channel, first 4 minutes, I gotta gather myself. So I got 10 seconds left, and then we'll get to it. And we'll try to do the best we can with this. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but let's get into it. It's easy to just say things. I think right now we kind of live in a world where it's definitely just easy to bypass things when it comes to news, what we choose to make news. So many articles, so many footage, live streams that we all just come across. To easily just access all this information. So it's almost like information overload nowadays, even when it comes to real things that happen, when it comes to the reality of events that are new. You never saw it happen like that. And it can even be created for fiction, books, movies, poetry. my procrastination life points are kind of dwindling. My procrastination life points have been dwindling. There is, if you never knew that was such a thing, over here it kind of is. Procrastination life points, and you run out of points, and that's when you need to do what you got to do. Not saying this is something that I need to do, not necessarily. It's just something that was on, something that I just had just doing. Because I don't know. I don't know, and I kind of just want to know. That doesn't mean I'll get the answer. That's why I changed the title, and the end of it, I had something different, but it said unnoticed. So it won't go unnoticed. So I did my own little research, Facebook, Google, and it happens, man. Everyone has a time. We all have a time. For some reason, obviously, this isn't the only person I know in my life that has passed away. Plenty of people, I don't want to say plenty actually. To be honest, my father passed away in 2012. And then, there's a couple classmates you went to school with that, or, acquaintances that, but it's about the perception here. You got to give me time to kind of get the gears running when it comes to even doing things like this. It's definitely about the perception of it, the way you look at it. We're all going to have a different way of looking at something. So for some of us, it's like acknowledgement. You acknowledge it. You didn't know the person, so you can't really add much to it, and that's rightfully so. And then you could be someone who knows the person, and this is where we're coming from. But not just that, like I said before, it's the perception behind it. It's about the timing within. So it's not really about what, it's about why, kind of, Well, why is it that there was a news article, about that, but then there isn't one about this? Look, that's what I meant by it before. You're not going to always, we can't release, they're not going to release articles of every single person and their life story, when something happens to them, or, when there's a serious injury or a death, a lot of these stories are obviously picked and chose. They really are, just like how, it's 2026, all these camera footage, all these even police footage that's being shown to the public. They're picked. Not, some are more considered like special, cases of footage that won't be shown. And that's facts. So with the perception of this, there's a sense to it. It's a sense of perception where you can sense, you don't know, we don't know, but you can sense that it was something that was easily swept under the rug. Now, don't get me wrong, I could go into detail, I could get very specific right now, and you may get upset at me for not doing that, So if you're a new viewer here, you gotta kind of see where someone's coming from. If you've been here for a while, you can slightly see where I'm coming from. It's a respect thing. So we're going to start it off with acknowledging, and then we'll see from there. We'll see if it's worth going into specifics. Because a lot of negative things about this person is kind of like what was shown. So when you heard about the news, when I heard about the news, it was easy to for it to be like disregarded, almost kind of like, yeah, like, it was acknowledged. Even over here from me, when I heard about the news and heard about her passing away, it was more so the time frame. Like, okay, well, why did it take over a year for this news to circulate about this death? So it made me intrigued. Obviously, I'm looking up where we're at, in terms of location, Tampa, Florida. I will give the location. Um, but just nothing about it. I didn't hear no information, um, no obituary. I've noticed a lot of obituary news within deaths are more so like small town type things. A lot of small towns more so do obituaries, where a city like Tampa, Florida, it's more special. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's more specific. It's more for a reason that you're gonna hear about someone passing away. They were probably a public figure, had something big to do with the city or whatever, and so obviously you hear news about that. So personally, I'm coming from a sense that there's much more, not much more, but more to do with this. It's much more than just some surface level. Oh well, they were just they were depressed, or they were a druggie or whatever, or they were connected to this person, and this is where we get into things like hearsay. That's all hearsay, and this is what I mean. This is why I'm making this live, basically. It has much more to do than just a specific person. It has much more to do than just you and me. You know what I mean? We never really get the real answers behind what happens, and that's true. And you end up hearing a bunch of stories about, even as far as false convictions, even as false allegations, and just kind of coming to a conclusion with gathered hearsay that could even come from people that have involvement with things and stuff like that. That's not always the case, but sometimes that's the case, and this is things that we are being shown today. There was a one thing I could definitely say about this person, and and what I'll say is that there was definitely much more to them than what was being said. When they really, one voice can make a difference, man. Let me just say that. Thank you guys for joining. Hello. One choice can make a difference. One voice can make a difference. So take it for the way you want to take it. View it for the way you want to view it. Something has happened, it's already happened. Some people may question, well, why are you just, coming out of the blue? You just want attention for speaking about this or something. And that's not true at all. There's definitely a bunch of reasons, But if I had to pick the main reason behind this, it's because there was just a personal relation. And that personal relation was kind of like traumatic events. We all go through traumatic events. But it's what brought you, it's about what happened and the way it brought you together to meet this person. Adelaide Maha, you took your message away. He said, what am I talking about? I'm talking about someone that passed away a year ago. 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And I didn't get the news until a year later. Um, we lived together for about July 2024 to October 2024 is when she left, and then she passed away in December 15th. And like I said before, I could go straight into the nitty-gritty details, but I'm not going to do that right now, just kind of out of respect. I'm not just going to outright, because there's a lot of situations like this. Her family wasn't in this state as well. And when I did look into it, obviously her condolences from her family was given to her on Facebook, but that's as far as I know. That's as far as I know. I don't know anything. All I know is that word of mouth, and then I looked into it. It's like, oh wow, this is wild. It was just the timing. It's the timing of things. It's the timing of what even I was going through during that time. So, I didn't want to make this long. There's definitely some other things, regarding current situations that I definitely got to more so make a priority right now, and got to take care of kind of quick, so we all get an understanding of what's going on, and so we can move forward and in the most positive way we can, so we can connect right with the correct things, and that's actually a really good question. Sarah, I just butchered last name, I think. If you were ruler of your own country, what would be the first law you would enforce? First law. What is the first law I would enforce? Dang, give me a second. I want to answer that one. That's a really good question, actually. You laughing at your question? I don't know. I think the first law I would enforce, I'm not going to go specific with this one, but let me kind of put you in the mindset. It would be involved with so take it for your own way. You can look at it, because you can kind of help me with this. So look at driving laws, right? You can be the best driver in the world, but that doesn't mean you're always going to be safe. That means that someone else can be completely reckless, and just like that, now you're involved and you were doing nothing wrong. So I'm not going to go into detail and really tell you. That's a good one to think about, but I'm not going to go into detail and really tell you I would know what's the first thing I would enforce, but it would definitely be something about safety. It would definitely be something about safety. It would be something about protection. It would be something about stability and insurance and insuring validation. It would kind of be about things like that. Hello, Kelly. Thank you for joining. Rodman, shout you out. You said identification. Yeah, and that too. A lot to do with fraud. I know that's very broad, but these are things that we're complaining about, but at the same time, well, look at what's going on in our world right now. These are things that they're trying to make it look like it's a convenience. So there's a lot of things that that's the way I look at it. I look at it as like there's a lot of things that like the world, the population is like hating on, and this is just the way I'm looking at it. It's like you're hating on it, you're hating what's like new coming up, like, oh, they're trying to control, they're trying to do this, but at the same time, the way we're living life is like things are moving so fast right now. Things are moving so fast. So I think they're just trying to make things like really convenient, and that's where I was coming from with what Rodman said with with that. Um, scanning, ID, all these things that are kind of going on to make things easier, when it comes to payments and your job and lifestyle, and definitely like convenience lifestyle. And I think we can all kind of agree to that, where things have kind of slowed down with the, get it from the dirt type energy. The get it from the dirt type energy is even kind of something that I've been not avoiding, but there's definitely a reason why I'm in a situation of having to build myself up 100% personally. That's where I'm coming from. Um, and that's where I'm coming from even with this video, this live right here too, with this title, is in a very dark place during this time, 100%. We're just building up right now. Uh, 2023 was the start of something new in my life. That just didn't go the way you wanted it to, And so it's like us all. It's like a job you thought that was supposed to go right, it didn't go right. A new situation that was supposed to go right, it didn't go right. A new relationship that was supposed to go right, and it didn't go right. And it hits some people harder the way it happened, the way it ended. That's where the connection with that happened. To be honest with you, I saw so much in this person when it came down to work. There was one time because during this time I was actually living in my car during this time when I met her, and that's how we ended up. And we met another individual, and he was he we're all characters, man. He was funny, man, but he played a role in helping us get this living situation. So it was great. It worked out. Very grateful for it. And but long story short, yeah, she ended up leaving, and then we were close. We weren't like close. We really weren't close, but we would all go to work together. And outside of work, you would think that this person was just some low life and they were just had drug habits and they were just depressed and didn't care about life. But when I tell you what, it's just energy is something else, man. Because it's like when you saw this person work, she was giving dudes 100% run for their money. Kid you not. And they were over here sweating and stuff, and she was out working them. And it was just wild seeing. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, what? You just changed like the whole way this operation went. Because there was one time we were working. The thing's supposed to be an 8-hour shift. You know what I'm saying? You already know it's an hourly labor jobs where you only get paid like 15 an hour, you know what I'm saying? And you end your 8-hour day with like a daily like $100 check, $96 check. She comes along, the next 3 days, and we're working and we bust it out in 4 hours, kid you not. And very rarely does this happen. I don't really want to say it because I don't want to mess it up for if they're still doing it with them type of jobs. And they still paid us for the full 8 in just 4 hours. You can't go wrong with that. But I'm telling you, it was because she was there, though. And that was something that I didn't like exaggerate, but it was definitely noticeable. But it didn't seem like anyone really noticed it. I noticed it, though. So, I didn't take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? If you watch this whole thing, you were probably thinking maybe you didn't get much from it. I didn't go much into detail about who this person is. Um, and I don't really know if you guys are even interested in this, but it's just something I just kind of wanted to speak on. I'm gonna be touching base on some things more later in regards to what I've said previously in previous lives I've just made. But I would like to know though. I would like to know because it's like a senses type thing. It's a sense. It's like I'm sensing like there's something else because of during that time. Um, I don't know. Things were kind of like a little weird. Like during the ending, we kind of like didn't like we kind of stopped talking because I don't know. Me personally, I don't go out of my way to like talk bad about anyone or even situations right now. I definitely got to handle. Um, Look out for an. I will have a vid, or maybe I'll make it a live, and you can kind of already know where I'm going with this, and it's going to be called. Yeah, do not allow people to go too far with speaking on your name. Do not allow people to go too far with speaking on your name. And some of us allow this to go too far, perhaps because of certain things we already got going on, and we just got to roll our eyes like, oh man, we got things we're trying to figure out right now. I don't have time for this distraction that's going on right now. But if this distraction keeps on building and building and building, you're going to have to take care of it. And you're going to have to say something because it's going a little too far, especially if it's something that others are feeding off of and now is like, and is it being made a little too big? This doesn't mean you gotta attack and be on some defender war type stuff, or on some fight type stuff. It doesn't mean that, no. Maybe you just gotta be a good example on how to go about that. If that's something that's going on, or something that you can relate to, you know. But yeah, there was I just think it's weird. I definitely think it's weird that nobody has no information, especially considering just connections. Um, I don't know. It's a shame. It's a bummer, you know. And I've just seen different peripherals of situations like this, and then you hear someone say something. Oh, they were just this. They were just. I'm just kind of throwing it to the side, like they're like, oh well, it's so easy. Just well, yeah. I mean, well, it was bound to happen. They didn't care about life, and you hear like some of the things people saying is like, dang, yeah, people just don't. People just don't really care anymore, man. I'm being honest. It's not something I want to say. It's not something you can agree to, but it's like, bruh, it's so easy to just be like, oh, yeah, that happened, and just scroll through. And it could be someone that you like knew. And that's a type of like, it could have been your classmate. You were sitting right next to this person, and 3 years later, you're on Instagram and you're scrolling through, and this person is gone. And you're just like, oh, no way, wow, yeah, I used to know that person. Let's keep it moving. Wow. So you can't tell me that things like this would just be looked at differently back then. So that right there goes to show you not the substance, but just like the sentiment behind how quick everybody's like becoming more aware of things, even when they don't need to say things like that. Like, oh, I'm becoming more aware. I'm becoming more spiritual. Oh my goodness, awakening and all those things. And there's people awakening not even knowing they're awakening. Right now. Just with the way that we're all seeing things. So, um, yeah, I don't know. It's just something I felt the need to go live about. I'm someone who's got to work on doing it in the moment because I'm someone who I'll have like a really good idea. I'll have like a really good live topic or something I feel like the need to say, and I'm like thinking it, and in my head I'm thinking it like completely like the way I want it to go or whatever. I could just be doing it right there and then, but it's like I'm not, and it's almost like 30 minutes can pass, an hour can pass, and you're just in a different like not mood, but you're in like a different like peripheral energy type of thing. Not like a different energy, but it's like your peripheral. Now it's like now it's like directed different. Now there's something that closed off, or there's something that opened up that doesn't really like play a role in that kind of, And so it kind of changes like the tone of what it should have been. It's kind of like that. So this is kind of where I'm coming from, you know. And yeah, even when it comes to even if they weren't, even if they didn't have the best words for you, I really am that person. It's just I don't know. We've all been going through a lot of changes lately. There's a lot of things that I used to get upset about, or maybe I'd like react a little emotionally to it. But things are just different now. You're just more calm about it. That doesn't mean that sometimes we're too calm. That doesn't mean you let it slide. There are some things that you shouldn't let slide for too long. Because if you let it slide for too long, now the minute you want to bring it up, it's kind of irrelevant. And now you took too much time doing that. So, condolences, rest in peace. And like I said before, you can't make people see things the way you see it. You can't make people understand why you do what you do. Only you can understand, and that's fine. So I'm just saying unsolved because it's kind of selfish. Like I don't know, so I'm calling it unsolved. There's got to be someone who knows actually. I'm pretty sure if you did some more in-person digging, when as far as kind of going to the straight source or someone connected to the source, obviously you would be able to find more information. So slightly like, kind of like the easy way out, way I'm going. If you truly wanted to know, I'm pretty sure you could connect yourself to an information source, to amenities, that regard that type of stuff. So that way we can make a situation not complex and not make it more dark or deep than it really is. Using words like death and stuff. This is, what I'm saying? This is not something we want to do. It's not something I want to do. It's not something that I want to consistently make make it my material. No. But something I just wanted to definitely at least touch base on for sure, and just kind of get out of the way. Me personally, I just felt it was just something to do, something that I should speak on. So, that's kind of it for now. Thank you for those of you who are kind of new to the channel for checking it out. Make sure to give it a like. I'll have more material, interesting material that'll more so, I don't want to call it like self-help type information, but how to put up with something kind of like in a new way, kind of like in a new form type thing, a new way to go about situations that happened in a new way. So it's kind of like it's the same. There's really nothing new under the sun for real. There really isn't. So what's happened to you already happened. Like someone already went through that. They had to have already went through that physically. You know what I'm saying? But it's probably just in a different way physically, spiritually. You know what I'm saying? But just in a different way and things like that. And then it's like a torch passing thing. But it's about the peripheral. So now, we're coming from okay, well, this is a little different. This is a little like, I haven't seen it like that before type thing. It's kind of like that. So you don't know if this is like, something that's like playing a role in something much more than what it seems like. But it just kind of intrigues you, like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, it's something that everyone can kind of build off of, So you kind of got to look at it like that. It's like we each help each other see a different side to something that we can't see. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Um, yeah, and I'll probably have another live here in a couple of hours maybe. I'm just gonna do a couple more outlining, a couple more structuring out, organizing, what I need to make a priority, because it's definitely go time right now. It's definitely rebuild time, and get yourself to where you want to be time, and try to not make it look like it's not. You can't really care about the way it look at this point. Something that kind of stagnated me in the past is like, worrying too much about wanting things to be perfect, or spending too much time on trying to like structure it a certain way that it makes it look for you. We don't have enough time for that now, so you kind of gotta get it going, and just kind of learn as you go. And the con to that is, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. Um, balance. I'd say balance is the number one, is a term that I definitely am keeping in the back of my head right now. Um, Consistency, balance, purpose, reason, purpose, definitely. If there's no purpose, or if there's no reason to something I'm doing, I just literally can't do it. So that's where I come from, when even during times when the whole, well, how does this person not see something this way? And like, people may not understand why someone's not seeing it this way. And you may be someone who's coming from a space where, especially me, where it's like, well, if someone's already doing something, it's like, I just can't do it. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do something that someone's already done. I have to do something that's like different. It could, you know what I mean? I've never, I've never been like a copycat. Or I try not to be a copycat. I don't like being a copycat, or like kind of like picking off, because we all can't say that we haven't done that at some point. And I have done that at some point, and I learned a very valuable lesson about that. So, thanks for checking out the live, guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. This is one I just wanted to kind of make briefly, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for checking it out.